The internet is a very powerful communication tool, and in its early days, it was very free and very beneficial to a lot of people. However, these days, it's controlled by a few malevolent entities who want to control the flow of information, to socially engineer the public, and control the mainstream narrative. And the collusion of these few malevolent entities is divided into several different companies and subsidiaries, meaning that it's very hard to discern that you're being manipulated if you don't know what's going on. Um, in the early internet days, there were tons of forums, sites, everything, and communication was very efficient and very free, and it was very good. It was all just, you know, you could say whatever you want, right? So eventually, of course, all discourses ended in truth because freedom of speech inevitably ends in truth. So this was all very good, but then what happened is that the powerful didn't like that good people had a efficient, um, easy communication tool that they could use to improve the world. And so what happened is that a few malevolent corporations now control all these few social media sites, and they're barely any different. You know, they've all got the same biases and agendas that they want to enforce. And so everyone on this platform, the internet, is using these few social media sites that are all pushing the same narrative, and so it's very efficient at socially engineering the public. And so it's very hard to contradict the narrative they're pushing or be able to contradict the narrative that they're pushing on these platforms, because you're likely going to be banned, which only reinforces the bias and sways the public even more in the agenda of these malevolent entities controlling communication. And the problem with the modern world is that the public square is gone. There's nowhere for people to communicate freely, free of the tyranny of the government and corporations. So, especially due to isolation that's going on in the past year or so, or more, people are forced to communicate using these tools and aren't able to communicate traditionally with other people, meaning that these corporations and governments and malevolent entities have even more control than usual over the public discourse, and they can spread their propaganda even more efficiently than they could before, because it's very hard for people to actually get people to know opposite views or contradicting views, because there's no way to get it out there, because it's very hard to find people who aren't on this handful of social media sites. And of course, there's also the collusion of the mainstream media, all these few corporations and governments and malevolent entities controlling the mainstream media and the mainstream narrative, socially engineering the public and making us more subservient and less free. So, man, we need to fix the internet, and the world in general. Um, and we need to defeat these malevolent entities because they exist and they are deluding us.